Before we kick today's seminar off on the topic of time management, discipline, and prioritization, let's welcome our new members into the community. Everyone wave. Kimmy, Sammy, Sarah, Alex, everybody else that's in the community, welcome. Get your asses to these seminars whenever you want. These are here. They're also recorded. If you want the recording, let me know. But most importantly, welcome. Welcome. Make the most of this resource. All right, guys that are here with me today, let's get stuck in. I actually have no notes planned for this one. I've just been super busy, to be honest with you. But I've got a good idea of where to take this. And I think everyone's combined today, because you've got a few here that I know are good with time management, can chip in together. So time management, who here sucks at time management? Lockie, well done, my man. Jack, a little bit. Kelly, glad you put your hand up. Pretty much everybody, right? Okay. Who thinks their time management is handled okay? All right. Nathan, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person, my brother. That was a great hookup last week, dude. Nate, come off mute. And again, like Magnum and Matt, you've been working with me for a long time, right? We've gone through time management. We've got our new goal set to take the business to more scale, which is exciting. What enables you to manage your time the best at the moment?
Well, it's taken me a while and a lot of stressful situations to be able to prioritize where I put my time. Essentially, it got a lot better when I had 3 kids and a wife to also manage, not just the business and myself. It's not a matter of not ever having something to do. I always have things to do. It's just a long list of things. But essentially, I've compiled the list in such a way. I say, okay, these are the priorities, what I need to do today. Tick off like the top 3. Everything else that's not as important, I will focus on later. I used to be a big person of trying to multitask. Oh, I'm going to start this. Oh, maybe I should start this as well. And I do this. Then I do a little bit of that. Nothing gets done. It's just a small parchment of everything. So now I pretty much harness my energy and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to finish. This is a priority. Other things will pop up. That's just how it is. I will finish that. If family comes up, like right now I'm at home because the missus has come down with a bug. So I didn't go to work last night. I do essentially what I need to do, prioritize that. Everything that's not as imperative, not as important, I will push to the side. So when it comes to time management, what I need to do, I'm not as stressed because all the important things are done and things I can put to side, like any online admin, I know I can do at home with work. Is not, it's important, but not imperative. And I find myself a lot less stressed, just managing where I put my focus with time.
I think there's so many. I was literally not ignoring you, brother, because I love you, but I was writing some notes there, right? So there's so many little gems in there, and I'm going to just list these straight off the bat, right? Just to give some value straight away. It's okay not to be perfect with your time management all the time, guys. I think that's the biggest thing you can take away from what Nathan said, right? Like, and here's the thing, hands up who's got kids here. I got 2. Tane's got a. Michael's got a. Cash, Shay, yeah, and then obviously Sue's got one. Nate, the same. Like these little walking middle fingers, I like to call them, right? They can throw you curveballs, right? And you have to be good with the bat. You have to. If you miss, well, they're more of a middle finger than what they already were, right? But basically, it's completely fine and it's completely okay not to have a perfectly structured week all the time. And this is where Nathan hit that word that I wanted to put on top of the topic of time management and discipline, which is prioritization, right? For me, everybody here, right, I think everybody here, we're at a stage of business growth, are we not? Are we always on the verge of growth and everyone wanted to grow their business here, right? Prioritization of business growth, right, will get you business growth. So relating it back to time management, priorities and prioritize the tasks that you want to move forward. It's very simple. Time management's often very overcomplicated, by the concept of being busy and not being productive. Can anyone relate to being fucking busy? Because being busy is shit, if I'm honest with you. Like, I mean, I'm busy as hell today. I hate even saying the word, but I am productive. Like I'm very, very productive. Everything's managed down to a T. And how I manage that for, again, people that are recording and who haven't got access to the content that lots of you guys will have stage 6 unlocked, time management. If you want it unlocked, just message me saying unlock stage 6 on the portal. The ideal work week, creating this Excel spreadsheet and then dragging and dropping that into your live calendar, it is the best way for you to be able to set up a perfectly functioning week. And when you do this task, you will actually find you have so much more time than what you think. 24 hours a day, or for entrepreneurs, I say 55-hour work week is like standard. You don't operate around here on 40 or 38, like 9-to-5ers. We do a little bit more. 20% more is what I would say is like a minimum amount of time for people that are part of a company that are growing themselves, right? So what you do is when you actually put all your tasks in, and bearing in mind the most amount of sessions you should ever be doing is not the amount that Tane is currently doing, it's less than that, right? So you should only ever be doing around 40 sessions maximum, max, which means that is 20 hours of PT, right? I can see Sue and Kelly working out how many they're doing and all that sort of stuff there. But like that's the max, because that relates to 6-figure income based off an old price point of ours, which used to be $100 an hour, $50 per half, right? So you got another 25 to or 30 hours to 35 hours to use. Now let's come off mute, and I want to hear a list of things apart from taking PT sessions that you need to do as a PT, all right, in a work week. Just take yourself off mute and list some. So we've got PT. What else have you got to do? Calls, yeah. Consults, yeah.
Nutrition.
Marketing. And what was that? Was that nutrition, Jono, was it?
Yes, that's right.
When you say nutrition, Jono, shine a light on that. What do you mean? Do you mean programming nutrition for your clients?
Yes, or just answering any questions they have, Vox, or anything along those lines.
Cool. So communication or Voxering with clients. We've dragged and dropped that in, Jono, for you. For most people, though, that only comes at scale. And when it comes to nutrition and Jack, you know how much I hate this word programming, right? I think everyone fucking knows how much I hate the word programming. Programming is the biggest waste of time. I don't care. I'll tell people to their face, whoever they are in this industry. Programming hours upon hours on end is pointless. It is pointless. So you shouldn't be doing too much programming. But what Jono said, which is correct, nutrition, all right, and having a little bit of a look at clients, so analyzing for people that have got the trainers on board. And Shay, perfect example here, looking at the quality of delivery, right? Managerial tasks, a PT session logs getting done by your trainers. Tane, this is something that we're going to be walking into very soon. Tom, exactly the same. Jack, not too distant future, right? Quality assurance. These are all things you've got to be putting in, right? What else have we got, guys? Anything else?
Setting new clients up and check-ins.
Yeah. So setting new clients up, check-ins, right? Anything else, guys?
So like general admin of like when people go on cancellations and time hold forms and all that sort of shit. Yeah,
100%. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do is this. Who here has got access to note-taking ability right now? We're going to take this to a good level. Jack, you got it, or Jono, right? What we're going to do, we'll get both of you to do it, right? Put PT 20 hours. And then what we'll discuss is then consults next. So time frame, what do you reckon? Recommended time for consults as a sole entrepreneur. So Tane, how many hours? I know you're not a good example because you're so busy. Look, for
like 8.
Me, yeah, you put 8 in. I go 10. So put 10.
10.
Yeah. So put 10 in, right? After that, what else did we have? So we got Jono and Charmaine's combined like nutritional consulting or programming check-ins, all that sort of stuff. how many hours, Charmaine, would you say when you're at your peak, right? Because we're building again now. What would you say you do in a week?
Probably a couple of hours.
Yeah,
Maybe
I like a couple of hours. All right, a couple of hours, chuck it down. What else did we have there, Tane, before you reeled off a few? We haven't really talked about marketing yet, though, have we really? So go on, what else did we have? Admin.
Admin stuff, yeah.
How many hours, guys, admin? It shouldn't be more than one of these fingers. Hold up a finger. How many hours you're doing admin? Michael says 2. Jack does 2. Okay, 2 hours it is. So chuck down 2, Jacko and Jono. What else we got? Calls, we said before. Calls, how long? Shay, how long does Magnum spend on calls currently? 2. And that's an example, guys, right there. That's why I asked Shay. The scale of what those guys are doing is more, right? 2 hours is solid. How many consults do we normally get booked within 2 hours, Shay?
Anywhere between 12 and 20.
There you go. So 2 hours, 12 and 20 consults, right? That's what it should be. And Sue and Kel, get back to me, Sue and Kel. I can see you chatting away there in the background. Can you hear me? Are you're good? Yeah. Get back to me on how we're handling them leads, yeah, on Voxer. All right, just get back to me with how, yeah, the lead box leads and that, because we want to make sure we're getting, because you're getting them through. So calls, 2 hours. Okay, while we keep thinking, Jack and Jono, tally it up. How many hours are we up to?
36.
We're at 36. All right, here's my kicker. 10 hours for marketing. That takes it to 46. Tom, what do you do, superstar? Anything else that you do in your business that we haven't listed?
I guess the business tracker, your stuff.
There you go. So that's all. That's admin, but yeah, business tracker.
No, I didn't do anything.
That's good. All admin. Cass, anything that you would do on top of that list?
Just logging your stuff as well.
That's great. That's a great. Here's another thing. Your training, your own training. You put that in there, right? So your own training, say hour a day. That's 5 hours, right? So just I chuck in that, but you can give yourself a rest day as well. It just depends. It depends how much of a beast you want to be. But again, chuck in 4 hours, and then travel as well. That's a kicker. That will vary for everyone. Cass, how far do you travel to the gym at the moment, Del?
About 20 minutes.
Yeah, so there you go. So you could call it like 45 a day, hour and a half, 3. You could call it another 4 hours or so, right? But then you might be doing multiple trips. Travel, right? Chuck those 2 down, Jack, and then tally it up for us. I think we're around 50 to 55.
Hold up, just let me add up.
Say again.
55.
55. Okay, boom. We're right on the money. So travel is one thing, guys, that I think can slow people down a hell of a lot. I think I was speaking to a client, I can't remember who it was. I was speaking to a client this morning, and they were saying, we're going into a new location, has to be strategic with travel times. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, anyone in Melbourne.
Can I chip in?
Yeah, go, Jack, go.
So it was probably like 6 or 8 months ago, back when I was at Good Life. Like I was doing the morning shifts, going back home, coming back out. So that's easy. And it was about 15, 20 minutes. So that's an hour and a half a day that I was doing. But now, because I'm moving closer to where I work, I'm going to be traveling for 5 minutes, so that's going to make like such a big difference.
That's correct. Yeah, I love that. I think, so basically, if you want more time in your calendar, guys, then just move, like Jack. But like, look, I think you've got to be strategic. I have another client, Anthony. He's not here. He's normally here. Anthony, he's moved a couple of times to make it more flexible for his business. so that he doesn't have huge commutes. Again, like Charmaine, same as Ems as well, like in the sunny coast, being in Brisbane, a lot of people would commute that. I've got a great friend of mine who's in the Sunshine Coast. He was commuting to the Gold Coast daily, like, fuck that, you know, it's too long. Tom, you know, in Melbourne, for us, if I hit rush hour going from the southeast to the north, like you can chuck an extra 40 minutes on the journey, like at least, right? It's screwed. So travel is an up and downer. I could say the same with people's training, but I mean, most trainers will religiously train, but it can be up and down. And I think training is something that gets put on the side because of how busy you are, right? Would I be right in saying that sometimes when you're having a really busy day, right? But remember, take this away. So we're going to go through that list again, 55-hour work week right here. I'm glad we did that as a team. So well done, everyone. Basically, you will prioritize what you feel is more important. And that's what it comes down to. It's nothing else. And for anyone watching this recording, these guys prioritize coming today. I could fill a screen up 5 times over with the amount of clients, probably more that we have, but for obvious reasons, time differences, different countries, people have sessions at these times, nobody can attend, right? Or not everyone can attend, right? But there are a lot of people that have attended these seminars that don't frequently attend them. They're inconsistent. That is a sign of poor time management. And here's the thing. It's not me being horrible. I'm just being honest. I'm here every time, right? Michael's second in line. Tom Rose, you were second in line, but you're now third because you missed last week or something, right? So, right? But do you know what I'm saying? You guys prioritize. Charmaine's always here. Jack 90% of the time is here. Cass being very good. Like, you guys come because you prioritize. So when I talk about priorities, these things that you put your time and effort into will therefore grow, right? And it is that simple. I think, Nath, words of wisdom here, brother, if you want to share. Remember when I spoke to you about putting our focus into more consistent rather than fluctuating levels of growth? Talk a little bit about the persistency and consistency in terms of taking action. I know it's a bit of a subtopic, but I had a bit of a brainwave there about that.
Yeah, sure. So I was always had a bad habit, and it kept going for like a couple of years, really, is going to the business to a point. I'd be in strife. I'd be doing like 1,800 weeks, and I'd be like, okay, I got to hustle hard to get myself to a point again. And Simon and I would do all the work. So, okay, do this, implement this, whatnot. And we'd easily get back up to 2,500 a weekly within 3-4 weeks. Like, cool, all right. And then I would just coast again. I'd be like, okay, I'm at this point. I'm gonna, oh, my baby girl. Sorry.
Don't apologize, brother.
She might be okay. That just came out of nowhere. Then we coast for a bit. I'm right here. She's crawling towards me. Give me 5 seconds.
Yeah. So I'll continue for him while he attends. So
I got it.
You guys got it?
Then,
good.
Yeah, I got it. And then we coast for a bit, and then I'd be all busy. Here she is. And then what would happen is I'd slowly over time, without realizing, get crap again. As in I'd get back down 1,800 weeks. And you don't really realize until it becomes a regular thing. It's not like you wake up one day, I'm like, oh, I've lost all my money. It just slowly happens, and then eventually you're making weekly 1,800 weeks again. You're like, okay, shit, I gotta pick it up again. Then again, Simon, oh, I'm doing shit. I'm too prideful to admit straight away that I was doing average. And Simon would just kind of notice it over time. And then he's like, oh, what's been happening? And then eventually I said, oh yeah, I guess I get slapped. I get really good, get myself to a point, and then I coast. So then obviously Simon and I had a big chat about time management and what the amount of effort that has to consistently be put into the business to be able to maintain a certain point. And it took me a little while, but I think I'm there now. I'm a bit more confident that I'm there. I'll get my business to a point, and we're at a good level again now. We're actually at quite a good level compared to where we've been, probably almost the best we've ever been. But now I'm like, okay, well, good. I'm here. Keep going. I'm doing business partnerships. I'm saying, okay, what do we bulk blast? Let's do some posters instead of just coasting about it. I'm keep pushing, and it's getting better and better instead of that old slack mindset of just, oh, I'm at a good level. I'm just going to take my foot off the gas pedal now. And it's not even so much taking your foot completely off the gas pedal. It's like, okay, I've hustled hard. Let's not stop, but now let's find a point where I can consistently keep moving forward. I'm not stressing myself out where there's still growth. But I'm teetering between too much stressing myself out and not doing it at all. And that's where I'm at the moment. And it's working well.
It is
so
working.
We're at a good point now.
Yeah, you definitely are at a solid point, bro. We're very, very consistent and doing better than those numbers that you just mentioned. But I think one of these things, I always say the 2 P's, consistency and consistency. But with time management, good to have you with us, Phil. Phil, you're looking diced, bro, as well. You lean down heaps compared to before, I'm telling you. Anyway, there's our bromance going on there. So basically, what it comes down to is that consistency and consistency with your well-organized time that will enable a business to continuously flourish. And like I said to you before, don't ever beat yourself up, guys. Like when you've got external forces coming in, you've got kids and you've got to give the baby their protein shake. It's like, it's one of those things. Don't beat yourself up. It's completely fine. They do happen, right? But don't let it unravel, I think is probably what Nathan would also agree with, is what we had done before. Like it can unravel. You've got to find a way to prioritize those tasks and to apply consistent pressure. I mean, the thing is, like, it's very, without me sounding horrible, it's freaking easy to grow a $500,000 business in this industry, guys. It is. It's easy. Only when you get there, you can look back on how easy it is, but it's only through being persistent and consistent. I mean, I saw Michael nodding his head in the background as Nathan's talking. I think you're another prime example of, so inconsistencies and with time management, but also kids, different external forces that happen. So many people here can all relate. Who's grown a business and seen it dip before? Like shit, like everyone, we all have. And when it does, don't let it affect your prioritization of important tasks in that time management list. Does anyone have any questions on that? I've kind of spat some value out there for a bit. Otherwise, I've got some more value points, and then we're gonna go back over that list that we've made with Jack, because I think also, Jack, can you just write social media down separately there, brother? Just write socials. I want to talk about that because it's
for sure, man.
It's huge. Yeah.
And just piggybacking off sort of what you're saying, if you do take a dip, and it's sort of a bit of a tangent, but it's something I always just try and relay as much as I can because it's really important. And always take the perspective of like if you're working with a weight loss client, it's a really good example. So if they're losing weight consistently, going well, and then they take a big jump back. And then they jump on the scales and they're like, oh shit, and they start to get all emotional. And I'm like, no, just use the scales as that objective number. And it's using your business tracker. It's using all the signs, all the tickers to see where you're at and readjust just so you can be objective with it and then get back on track. Taking the emotion out of it. And yeah.
You really have changed, man. I tell you, I am very, very proud of you right there, man. Dude, that right there is fire. I'm telling you, relatability to what your clients are going through with what we're talking about here. So this goes one further, and Jack's taken the lid off this one. So we're going to go down this rabbit hole. Like everything we're talking about here in terms of business performance, when you've got a client that steps on a scale and uses that number as a negative setback, use this stuff here, relate to them about it. It'll all come down to prioritization of what they're doing with their work or with their work and lifestyle week as to why they're not getting their fluids in, they're not going to the gym, they're eating shit food. Do you know what I mean? Relate to them about it. I think Lucky, man, as well. I'm glad you're here for this one, dude. we talked this week about speaking to a client and telling them what they needed to be told and not what they wanted to hear, right? Like what I do to you guys, like a lot of the time, like every one of you guys here will have had that from me. It's not because I'm having a pop, it's because I'm genuinely obsessed with making you better, and because you care, or because I care. This is why you should take what Jack's saying, relate the time management into the clients and what they're going through, but also tell them what they need to hear. So if they haven't been doing stuff, but they've had a reason not to do it. So for example, everyone here that's had kids, I know for when my kids come along, when Michael's came along, and when everyone's kids come along, you're going to take your foot off the freaking pedal for a bit. Why? Because it's your family first. That's why, right? But if someone's got a shit excuse as to why it's like, I don't have enough time, right? One of them, right? That's just the worst excuse in the book. That's when you've got to tell them what they need to hear and not what they want to hear, but deliver it professionally and politely, like I always say. I mean, we can always, between us, be blunt. I'm the bluntest here, but you know it comes from a place of love, right? So just communicate and relate. As now, Lockie, I'm proud of you, brother, for being able to, because man, it takes your coaching to the next level. Like a lot of clients, when you can communicate to them in that way that they need to be told something, not that they want to, and do it from a place of relatability like Jack, you'll find these clients, they actually want to be told that shit as well. I'll never forget a client that told me, Simon, I want to be kicked in the ass. That's what they told me about ages ago. They did. And I was like, you asked for it, man. This is probably the turning point in my life when I became a wanker. Like, but anyway, it's one of those things. They asked, I deliver it. But they do. Most clients, and when this is at scale, all right, at scale, holy crap. If you have trainers that are not delivering the accountability and are not using the structures that we've worked on for years, that I know are the best in the business, your business is going to be screwed. Business is going to be screwed. So that's a little bit of a separate topic, but yeah, hopefully that all made sense. Great point there, Jack. What else have I got here? And then what we'll do is go over that list. Okay, so anyone here like me who's like really OCD, or anyone that has like, I don't, it's a personal question, but I have a lot of clients that have ADHD, which is super common. Some little things here. Put yourself in environments that will make you perform and be productive rather than busy. That's a really big tip, and I got that one from when Tane was speaking at the start. Like, try to get yourself to perform under healthy amounts of pressure. So like a really good way to handle for like ADHD clients, and I've done a lot of like studying on this for me to better the service that I can give those types of clients who will only take action a certain amount of ways. And it's the same way with you guys. I guarantee you guys will have clients that will be OCD or ADHD is the main one, right? Where there's basically a blockage of dopamine pathways in the brain, which stops people getting that sense of like, makes you feel good when you do something. So they don't want to do it because it doesn't make them feel good. Really makes people take action when you perform under a clock. So if you actually set yourself time to perform a task in, if that can make people with dopamine blockages in their brain, and everyone knows what dopamine is, right? So it's the feel-good hormone, right? So if that can make people who don't have that, or that blockage is present, that can make them take action. Imagine what it can do for you guys that don't have that condition. So put yourself under time pressure. That's a real big one that's helped me and a lot of clients like take a lot of action. Also putting yourself in environments that make you perform. So some people would like to go to like a busy cafe, for example, and work. And a lot of people would think like, normally, why the hell would you go to a busy cafe to try and concentrate, number one, let alone work, right? But for some people, that stimulus can help them focus because of the distraction and the noise around them, can help them focus on tasks that they have to get done, rather than being in a quiet, peaceful, kid-free environment, which I fucking envy a lot of you that don't have kids a lot of the time, where it's like, and you have freaking PlayStation controllers, or you've got like your phones there, right? Because you can do all that shit, right? If you don't have the kids, and it distracts you. Put yourself in those positions, and I think it can help you perform better. Again, for me, being busy isn't good. Being productive is, and just remember that what you focus on expands. We all, as well, can't believe the golden nugget hasn't come out yet. We've all got the same 24 hours, so it's just like anyone wants to make excuses. All it is it's not that you don't have time. You should that sentence should not be allowed to be said outside. All right, it should not be allowed to be coming from people's mouths. You all got the same amount, right? Sometimes going for a freaking walk is more important than growing your business for you. Real talk, hard truth. Sometimes because you want to get on stage and you have to do what you're doing in terms of your prep, and you have to do that, well, fuck. If you want your business to grow as much as your body's growing and as good as your body's going to look, well, you got to find double the freaking time. You've got to prioritize both. And if you can't do that, one will be let go or it will suffer. This is why we always say you cannot advance momentum into more than one thing at a time. It is impossible. I don't give a shit, especially if you want to get 100% out of it. Now, if you're happy with getting mediocre, that's fine. Do two things, right? Do two, because you're only going to get 50% and 50% out of each. I'll never forget this one, all right? One client of mine, he was a business advisor. He was kind of the first mentor that I ever had about 6 years or 7 years ago. I was doing face-to-face one-on-one PT, group classes, boot camp, online PT, meal prep, and boot camp. All of them. I was doing all of them. One-man band, no staff. This is before I was even doing 6 figures, right? So ages ago. And this guy said to me, I'll never forget it because it was a freaking turning point. I'm telling you, it was a turning point. He goes, Simon, what's the main thing that you're passionate about in the business and what generates you the most amount of income? Because we're all business owners and you want to move forward, which means you want to grow your income status, right? And I was like, face-to-face PT. He said, stop the rest of it. And I said, well, I can't stop that. Like, you know, I've got all my girls and my boot camp that I want to look after. I've got the meal prep. So I decided to take 3 or 4 of them out, right? And I left myself with 1 or 2. Instantly took off. Like the face-to-face business, it exploded. So what you put your energy into and what you focus on will expand. And therefore you shall not ever advance momentum into multiple things at once. The only reason why some people's organizations can develop is because they have more than one pair of hands, right? You have staff, and this is what we do. We have leveraged PTs like Phil here, obviously, right? And obviously Shay. So Shay being a manager of Matt's organization, it enables double the consults to get done, right? It's as simple as that. Just like when, you know, Nath, who has a trainer, they do double the volume, right? That's what it's about. And you'll get more time when you have more hands, right? And it's that simple. But yeah, any questions, guys, about any of that? Otherwise, we'll just go through this list. So we've got, for the people on the recording, what I believe to be is the main list of what you should be focusing on. We'll just expand for the last 10 minutes on that list. Any questions? Are we good? All right, cool. Jack, what's on the list, brother? Take it from the top, or Jono, or combined. What do we got from the top? Whoever comes off mute first.
Just a list of time tracking, right?
Yeah, from the top. So 20 hours PT.
20 hours PT, consults for 10 hours, nutrition and check-ins for 2 hours, admin for 2 hours, calls for 2 hours, marketing for 10 hours, training 5 hours, travel 4 hours, and a foot social media for 2 hours.
Okay, and that's a total. And okay, so that's a total of 57, is it?
Yeah.
With the 2. All right. So here's the thing, and this is what I want to focus on here now. The amount of time that we spend talking about social media. Last week, by the way, guys, for anyone that was here, that was dope to speak about and hear about So two people that aren't here actually that are normally always here. So Alex and Dan. I know Dan's got a photo shoot, and Alex, he's got a consult at the moment. So let's send him some positive energy as we speak. So they were talking about Instagram a hell of a lot. All I always say to people is be present on all socials. Tom, you were here last week. It was great to speak about it, wasn't it? It was good. And basically they were speaking about different softwares you can use, different integrations and stuff like that. Basically, these things come up so often, and social media, would you classify social media, question, would you classify it as marketing, or do you classify it as just day-to-day, just it has to be done? What do you think?
I'd say marketing, yeah. It's a form of marketing, more or less.
Yeah. Anyone else? Views on it?
Would just be day to day, I think.
Say again, Charmaine?
Day to day stuff, just included in your business. Yeah.
Anyone else? Because I think there's the two perfect examples, right? There is no right or wrong to this. So it's day-to-day activities which eventuates to marketing, pretty much. Like, for me, this is one thing that I hate dealing with as a business consultant. Hey, Simon, okay, cool, you want to work with me? No worries. All right, I've got a couple questions. Number one, what marketing do you do for your business? Facebook and Instagram. It's not a marketing strategy, right? So anyone, and there's so many people, they think that Instagram and Facebook, that's their go-to marketing. How we determine marketing, and marketing is the most important part of that time list, apart from taking care of your clients, right? And obviously then phone calls, right? But still, can you control people coming to you on social media? No, you can't. Therefore, it's not marketing. Marketing like that, like we call it, like, remember, we're small scale, right? Up to sort of 500,000, 750,000 maximum, right? It's small scale, small to medium sized business, right? Macca's, right? McDonald's for you Americans. I could just see Suzanne just go, what? That's McDonald's, right? McDonald's, right? Walmart, okay, which is like Coles and Woolies for us guys, right? Coles, Woolies, JB Hi-Fi, Harvey Norman, these department stores, they can market on a level like that where they put an ad out, but because of how much money they throw at it, it reaches so many subconscious minds and so many eyes that they will actually get a return on it, right? You guys will not. Right? And that for me, I've spent years analyzing this shit. Like, and it's as simple as that. Anyone on a small business size scale will not. Number one, you can't afford what those guys are paying to get that level of exposure, right? But the main difference is that they're hoping people based on a billboard will come to them. You could get the money, right? And then put McLaren's Fitness Australia on a billboard. I guarantee you, Michael will not see a massive return on that $50,000 billboard, right? The reason why is because it takes a long time to take note before they take action. That's why you drive everywhere. How many times you drive around anywhere in the world, you see golden arches everywhere. You see these shops, you're programmed subconsciously to see it. So it has to be a daily task, which will eventuate into getting the product of marketing when people start to take note. Does that make sense? Like, thumbs up if that makes sense, because I think I've done a good job of explaining that. So you've got to do it on a daily, but it's not really marketing. Point being is this: do you include social media inside your marketing 10 hours? Phil, for you, brother, I always love it when you're here, man, because your experience, obviously, with myself is extensive. How many hours on direct marketing strategies do we spend per week? What would you say?
Direct marketing strategies.
Like, so not socials, bro, not socials.
We're talking Facebook stuff or stuff.
No socials, no social.
Now probably, well, let alone this week,
I've probably, what is it now, Wednesday, I'll probably spend about maybe 3-4 hours on it already.
Yeah. So you
And
do
probably
10 a week. 10 a week.
Yeah, it depends what we're doing, but we're obviously doing two. We're doing two this week. So for everyone that's listening in, we're doing a low hanging fruit and a bulk blast as well. And that's, yeah, I mean, I've been from Sunday, so I'll probably put in about 5 hours max so far for that. And I'm still halfway through it. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, look, 100%. I think, look, 10 hours, a lot of the time, anyone who's like, if you're starting out, floor walking, that sort of stuff, you might do more than 10, but a lot of the time, 10 hours is enough. It's enough. Depends though, local business partnerships, lead boxes, 10 hours vanishes like that, like it's quick. That's another sub note, right? Inside stage 6 time management, I actually recommend people to allow 4 hours dedicated solely to local business partnerships. Shay, take note, yeah? Solely to that. Solely. So Kelly and Sue, like we're piling energy into this at the moment. They're working, we're generating leads. Those things for you guys at the moment, solely 4 hours, just to, and that really, when you go out on the road, you check these boxes and you're collecting the leads and leaving the dummies in or whatever, that 4 hours evaporates quick. But again, going back to socials, I mean, 2 hours as well on socials, it's not a long time, even though we've allowed 2 hours, which takes us to 57 hours for the work week for our time management. It may be tight for you to get in socials, enough marketing and local business partnerships in 10 or 12 hours. But for some of you guys, you may not need half that time. So it's kind of a non-negotiable. And what I would do is I would budget marketing, right? So this is a tip for everyone, budget marketing in blocks of like 3 hours so that you can put a timer on for 3 hours, right? And actually dedicate yourself to a strategy, or depends what you're doing. Again, it's different for different strategies. I mean, again, bulk blast, I mean, me and Phil can probably launch one together in fucking 20 minutes and it's done, right? But it may take longer. Like if you're on the floor, you might want to walk it for like 2 hours. Like if you go and put local business partnerships, you could be 4 or 5 hours to go and see all of them. Like it's one of those things. So make sure though, it is a priority in your schedule, and then you can dedicate the time that each strategy.
Well, something I like to do, guys and girls as well, is that there's some weeks where I'll put 3 to 4 weeks of just full intensity into it, and I just will go. I work the extra hours. I work the odd times that I don't work, which is like early mornings. I'll work the extra Saturday just for 4 weeks. I'll punch it all in, get everything done, the consults, everything done. And then once that's all done, I'll cruise down, or I'll deload. So I'll sort of cruise down for a couple of weeks just to give myself that mental break. And then again, I'll build up and then I'll work on that. I find for me that works really well. I was actually in the middle of it. Actually now, this week and next week are my next 2 weeks of just cruising, but doing like things on time. But not really rushing to get everything done, just taking my time so I can focus, more, let's say, more effectively on the task at hand. And then I'm making my bookings for like 2-3 weeks onwards. And then from there, I'll push it hard again and then cruise back down. So I find that works really well for my mentality, and it also resets me and gives me a break. So I can also, again, talking on time management, it helps me balance my time for my kids, for my fiance, for my training, for all that sort of stuff. So doing that in waves works well. So that's something you guys could try as well. Then you're balancing life as well. So yeah, I just thought I'd add that in.
Definitely. And again, balance with the life. Like go back to what we said at the start here. I'm going to begin this sort of wind down and summary to this seminar today. Balancing with life. Yeah, like. You've all got so many things outside of business that are factors that are going to freaking rip you in different directions. And like I have 2 freaking companies. That's before the 2 kids and everything else. Like it's one of those things. At the end of the day, you will always, whatever you do, get out what you put into whatever you put into, and whatever you prioritize, right, and advance momentum into, which is ideally only one thing at a time, it will thrive. So if you ever have blips or dips in confidence or in your business in general, ask yourself, am I putting in enough to be getting the desired outcome from it? Ask yourself that. Am I prioritizing that marketing strategy, right, to get the results from it? And I can guarantee if your business ain't growing, the chances are is because you're not, right? And it literally is that simple. Again, girls in New Mexico there, study. We haven't even talked about studying. Holy crap. Like, study is something that can rip people in different directions, right? But again, when communication is also fragmented, and I always respect you guys as well, and Jono, who's just left, but I respect you guys for tuning in the evenings every week, right? Every week. Cass, no worries. You make the time to be here, and therefore, hopefully, you take stuff away all the time. And I know that you probably do, like everybody else. So I think, look, what we'll do here, we'll take it from the top. Jack, let's make that list again. What have we got in the lists? PT 20 hours.
So the PT for 20 hours, consults for 10, nutrition check-in for 2, admin for 2, calls for 2, marketing for 10, training 5, travel for 4, social media on 2. That was on 2 breaths.
There you go. 2 breaths. And that's 57 hours. 57 hours as well, guys. I'm gonna be blunt now. 57 is light work for an entrepreneur. I work 57 hours sometimes in 3.5 days. Like but then again, it's not. It's about what you want to do. You will get in, and you'll get out what you put in, and it literally is that simple. Look, 55 though is healthy. I don't recommend working more than 55 hours. And if you put all of those things into an order of priority for you, all right, and get them done first, then you'll find that everything will get done. 55 hours is 5 hours. It's easy for everyone to do. It's easily manageable. And that, yeah, remember, that's taking 20 hours of PT, 20 hours of it. You can always chop and change, again, down to priorities. I mean, if you're a fully booked trainer and you want to go, all right, well, I've got, my marketing is taken care of, right? It's taken care of. So I don't need 10 hours. You might go, shit, I'll do 25 hours PT, and then you're going to boost your income up by another $500-600 per week. It's up to you. Put your energy and focus into what you want, and therefore you will succeed in whatever that thing is. And don't be busy, just be productive. And that's why it's always good to have this planned out. Discipline, I haven't really talked much about it today, but I'm going to leave it with a big bombshell. Like, most people, they make all this shit, put it into a calendar and never follow it. Don't be like them. Do the hard work. You have to break routine. If you are in a routine of being unorganized and your time management sucks, it is going to be hurtful to you to break that routine and get into another routine. Does that make sense? It's not easy. It's not. It really isn't. Like, I'm trying to get back into my 5 a.m. wake ups at the moment because the last few months have just been hell for me. It's been crazy. Haven't prioritized training. Haven't prioritized 5 a.m. wake ups. Haven't prioritized food as much. That's changing. I'm not going back to where I was. It's fucking hard. I hit the snooze button every freaking morning, but every morning I get up 15-20 minutes earlier, and I'll work up to that, and I'm happy. And then when the weather comes and I've got more of a reason to get outside, happy days. Do things slightly as well. Don't expect big change overnight. Do you know what I mean? Because it is going to be hard for you to break cycles that you have been embedded into. That's it. I've got nothing else. I'm happy. Any questions? If you want that breakdown, just take notes. but we've got the breakdown. That's what I recommend, a work week. And if you want that time management stuff unlocked, just message me on Messenger, just saying unlock stage 6, and we'll get it done. All right. Been a pleasure, guys. I'll speak to you all on Voxer. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Speak to you soon.